have a little bit of a different view here today. My friend Joni over on her Facebook page is doing a little bit of a project and sharing some of her albums, how she stores them, what her plans are for her albums, and doing some flip throughs. So I thought I would join in the fun, and we're going to talk about how I store my albums and what my albums are. So this view, if you've seen my room tour, I'll upload it in the upper right hand corner, is the bottom of my tower of paper. So this is where I keep my albums that are in progress, things that I am going to repeatedly be going in and out of. My finished albums are in a different place, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But these are my in progress albums. On the bottom there you can see is my son's story. So I label it as whoever's story. All of my albums are a story, right? Because that's what we're doing. We are showing the life of us. So the albums that I have are my son's story, my story, our story, other son's story, and then my friend's story. Is kind of how it's broken up, right? Now, they're not all stories, essentially, but that's kind of how I categorize them in my brain. So my bottom right hand corner there, 2022 to 2023, I have about 4 albums per year because I do scrapbook a lot and he is the main subject. Now, as we get busier and he starts to go to school and those kinds of things, we'll probably have less photos. But currently he's at home with me right now, so there's no reason for me not to take a whole bunch of photos. So that's the bluish black ones in the lower right hand corner here. Now to the left, we've got our wedding. So I already have an album made of our wedding that is Shutterfly, that our photographer did, which is awesome. However, when you do Shutterfly and somebody else does it for you, you can't tell the stories behind the wedding, right? So that is kind of what that album is. It is the stories behind our wedding. The album next to it is, it's called This Is Me, but essentially that's my story and things about my personality, things about my childhood, things that I really like, dislike, just anything about me that I feel like scrapbooking about. To the left of that is a post-bound album. Now, I don't like post-bound albums. However, some of them are just too pretty to pass up. So I end up buying them and then I regret it. I like the convenience of the binder style albums because I do like to keep what's inside the album in order. And it's a lot easier to reorder when you can just move pages around. I mean, I still find myself pulling layouts in and out of sleeves, but I feel like I can leave room. And if I didn't use a page protector, I can just remove the page protector. But anyway, that post-bound album to the left of the tan one is my Nerdy 30s. Essentially, my friend group started as the Nerdy 30s and has progressed into real friendships instead of just a meetup group. And then to the left of that is John Henry's journey. I liked the J alliteration there, so it's not John Henry's story, it's John Henry's journey, which I've talked about in the past. I'll link that up in the upper right hand corner. And then above, we've got a blue album on the left hand side there. That actually is my pages without photos, my base pages. So I can, hardly ever do I, pull that out and just slap some photos on. I like the entire creative process, and so to have those done, which is great, because at that time my creative process was fulfilled. However, I do not seem to go back and use those. And maybe that's something I tackle sometime in the near future. Who knows? Next album is post-bound as well, but that one doesn't bug me as much because it's my month in review. Now I'm very behind in my month in review. It is now January 2024. And I've got 1 month done in my 2023 album. I need to even consider or think about my 2024 album. And I need to print photos. That's my big hang up, is I'm having an issue where I switched phones halfway through the year, and Project Life doesn't like that. So I have to find a different way to do my Project Life thing. And I needed to actually sit down and do it, but whole other story. Then the one that looks like wood is my advice from mom. So things that I want, lessons that I want to teach my son, and I plan to gift that to him when he graduates. He'll probably end up with all of his albums, to be honest, but that one specifically I want to gift him at graduation. And then the final album, it says Our Story, where it's my husband and I's story, so things that happen and we deal with together as a couple. It's post-wedding. So I still try. I mean, right now our life revolves around our son, right? As many parents know, that's kind of how it goes, and our stories intermingle with our son's story. But if something happens, like we go on a date night or something, or we have to be adults and deal with the basement flooding, those kinds of things go into our story. We're currently in my basement now. Mixed feelings about being in the basement, right? Moisture collects down here, you know, there's the risk of flooding, that kind of thing. However, in my house, we have waterproofed the basement. We spent the extra money when we found that there was a leak in our walls, and waterproofed the basement. So I do not personally worry about the basement flooding at all. So this is I don't think it's a Calyx unit. It's probably an off-brand I got from Bed Bath & Beyond when they were closing. And it's essentially a Calyx or whatever you call from IKEA. But this is where I store my albums when they're done. Now I'm out of storage, right? You can see plainly that I need to move some things around in my house in order to make this work better for me. Because I've got two smaller albums that are not even in these cubes here that are waiting for a home. But essentially, when my book is done, I can no longer fill the pages. This is where my albums go to live. My family doesn't pull them out very often. I am more the one to pull them out and show kind of what everything is, but this is it, right? So from the top, postbound, again, I just liked them. Probably got them super cheap somewhere, right? I probably should switch them to binders, but upper left is family. So we did not talk about this upstairs because I actually need to get a new album for it. But I've got 2 albums so far full of family that is outside our family unit. So cousins, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents, all of that kind of family is in the top postbound and then the very bottom postbound. They don't match. I wish they matched. It is what it is. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 binders. The white, black, white, and then the colorful binder of just my story that I've completed. So I've done a lot of scrapbooking of myself, which is fine. You know, sometimes I get in the mood for pink, and so I want to scrapbook pink, right? Pink is not always what happens, but it is what it is. So, and then the albums on the top shelf that are smaller, 2 of them are December Daily. We've got the blue and then the one that says 2022 on it. That's December Daily. The one on the right is an 8x album that's just JJ. when a story didn't seem significant enough for a 12 by 12, I put it in an 8 by 8 and I filmed it for you guys. So in the upper right hand corner, I'll list my 8 by 8 layouts, so that if that's something you're interested in, you can definitely check out. So second shelf, you can see there's these little bookmarks with some numbers on them. Those are my month in review. So that's how I combated not having a way to label post-bound albums. So that's 2020 and 2021. Still need to do 2022. No, sorry, that's 2021 and 2022, excuse me. Still need to do 2023. But I've got my pages ready, just need photos. Maybe that's a project I need to address. Getting all these ideas of things I need to do. So those are completed, they're done, ready to go, got journaling, everything. And then bottom is family, which is that buffalo check, which we talked about. And then the blue one is actually of my son's NICU stay. So he was in the NICU from March till May. Postbound albums don't hold as much as the binder style. So, you know, you get 20 layouts done and your book is done. So it worked out perfectly. I did some double spread pages. It still worked out perfectly, everything. I mean, I just really like it. It's probably my favorite album. And then my other two there that are the blackish blue. Sometimes it's hard to tell between the color differences and the album styles change by the time that you actually buy them. Those are my son's stories. So I think story number 1 is probably the rest of 2021. And then you got a 2023 album over there, 2022. I can't read it from here. That's completed. So I got some work to do, got some holes to fill, some gaps to be done with 2023. But I'm pretty much caught up on scrapbooking. I don't feel the need to, you know, document every single story, feel like I'm behind. I'm not. I'm fine. Whatever. I just want to scrapbook what's inspiring. And say I decide in 6 months that none of the photos that are currently in my photos to scrap binder are inspiring. Oh well. You know, maybe I just call the album done instead of trying to fill the gaps. So, I mean, since starting my YouTube channel back in 2022, I think I started scrapbooking in 2021. That's pretty good. Now, a lot of people that I know have been scrapbooking for decades. So they have a lot more albums than I do. And that's okay. I'm not trying to keep up. You know, I'm trying to enjoy my journey and telling my story. So I hope you found this inspiring. Let me know how you store your albums. Do you prefer postbound, straps, the binder style? What do you guys use? I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.